The last train to Sleepy Hollow.
It started with a missed train. Ethan wasn't supposed to be there that late. The last commuter train had already left, and the small station in Sleepy Hollow was nearly empty. The town had a reputation. Old legends, old graves, old whispers. But Ethan didn't believe in any of that. He believed in logic. That night, logic failed him. 1. The empty platform, the clock above platform 2 read 12:41 a.m. Cold air drifted through the station. The vending machines buzzed faintly. No staff, no announcements, just silence. Then, a train horn. Low, distant. But there were no scheduled trains after midnight. Ethan checked his phone. No service. He told himself it was probably a freight train passing through. But the tracks began to vibrate, and slowly, a train pulled into the station. The digital sign on the front didn't show a destination. It just flickered, blank. 2. No conductor. The doors opened with a mechanical hiss. No conductor stepped out. No passengers inside. The lights were dim. Not fully on, not fully off. Like something struggling to stay alive. Ethan hesitated. He should have walked away. But it was freezing, and maybe, just maybe, it would take him closer to home. So he stepped inside. The doors shut immediately behind him. Hard, loud. Final. 3. The moving silence. The train began moving. No announcement. No driver visible in the front cabin. Ethan walked toward the first car window. Outside, the station disappeared almost instantly into darkness. Not trees, not town lights, just black. Like the world outside had been erased, his reflection stared back at him in the glass. But something felt wrong. His reflection wasn't moving exactly with him. It lagged, just slightly. 4. The first passenger. When he turned around, someone was sitting 3 rows back. An old man. Gray coat, pale face, head tilted slightly downward. Ethan was sure the train was empty. "Hey," Ethan called. No response. The old man slowly lifted his head. His eyes were completely white. No pupils, no blinking. And his mouth moved. But no sound came out. 5. The next stop. The train slowed, but there was no station outside. Only fog. The doors opened anyway, and more people stepped in, one by one. A woman holding a broken umbrella, a teenage boy with blood on his shirt, a child clutching a cracked doll. They didn't look at Ethan. They just sat down, silent, still, unnaturally still. 6. The realization Ethan's breathing got heavier. He walked toward the back of the train. Every seat was now filled. But none of them had entered while he was watching. They were just there. He pulled out his phone again. Still no signal, but something else caught his eye. The time on his phone, 12:41 a.m. It hadn't changed. 7. The announcement the speakers crackled. Static. Then a voice. Distorted. Slow. Next stop. Final. The lights flickered violently. For a split second, every passenger's head snapped toward Ethan at the exact same time. Perfect synchronization. Their mouths slowly opened, too wide, unnaturally wide, and this time, they were smiling. 8. The truth. The train stopped again. This time, Ethan saw something outside. A cemetery. Endless rows of gravestones under pale moonlight. He recognized the name carved into the closest stone. His name, Ethan Ward, 2001-2202. His heart pounded violently. "No," he whispered. The train doors opened. The passengers stood up together and began walking toward him. Not fast, not slow, just certain. 9. The escape attempt. Ethan ran toward the opposite door. It wouldn't open. He slammed it. Kicked it. Nothing. Cold hands grabbed his shoulders. Dozens of them. Ice cold. he screamed. The lights exploded into darkness. 10 morning. The next morning, the real 12:41 a.m. train arrived at the station as usual. A janitor cleaning the platform noticed something strange. A phone lying near the edge of the tracks. Screen cracked. Still on, time frozen at 12:41 a.m. Authorities checked the security footage. At 12:41 a.m., Ethan was seen walking toward the platform. Then suddenly, he stepped forward, as if walking into something invisible, and disappeared. No train, no push, no struggle, just gone. Final line. To this day, locals in Sleepy Hollow say, if you ever miss the last train and another one arrives, don't get on because that one doesn't take you home.
The last stop at Forest Hills.
Location: Forest Hills 71st Avenue Station. Line: New York City Subway. E-train. Time: 12:58 a.m. Year: 2022. Daniel wasn't supposed to miss the 12:40 train. He worked late in Manhattan and usually caught the E-train back to Queens without thinking twice. But that night, his meeting ran long. By the time he reached the platform at Forest Hills 71st Avenue, it was nearly 1 o'clock a.m. The station was quieter than usual. Too quiet. Forest Hills isn't abandoned at night, but it isn't busy either. A few flickering fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The tiled walls reflected that pale hospital-like glow. The electronic board read, E-train, 8 minutes. Daniel exhaled. He wasn't alone. About 15 feet away sat a woman in a gray hoodie, head down. At the far end of the platform, a man leaned against a column. Normal, or so it seemed. The train arrived exactly on time. Metal screeching against metal, wind blasting across the platform. Doors opened. Daniel stepped into the last car. There were maybe 6 people inside. A couple sitting together. A teenager with headphones. An older man reading a newspaper. The doors shut. The train pulled away. Everything normal. For the first 5 minutes,
as the train moved deeper into Queens, Daniel noticed something strange. No one was getting off. Forest Hills was usually near the end of the line at that hour. People exited here, but everyone just stayed. The couple didn't talk. The teenager didn't move. The old man didn't turn a single page. Daniel checked his phone. No service. That was odd. Subway tunnels kill signal, sure, but usually it comes and goes. This time, nothing. The train lights flickered once, just once. When they came back on, Daniel realized something. The car was emptier. The couple was gone. He blinked. He was sure they were just there. The old man still sat across from him. The teenager, too. Daniel stood up slowly and walked toward the connecting door. Locked. That was strange. NYC subway cars usually allow movement between them. He turned back. The old man was staring at him now, not reading, just staring. Daniel forced a polite nod. No response. The train slowed. Daniel looked out the window, expecting to see Kew Gardens Station. Instead, the platform outside was completely dark. No lights, no signs. Just concrete and blackness. The train doors opened anyway. No announcement. No stand clear of the closing doors. Silence. No one got off. No one got off. The doors closed. The train continued. Daniel's pulse started rising. That wasn't a scheduled stop. He rode this line almost daily. There was no dark, unmarked station between Forest Hills and the next stop. The lights flickered again. When they returned, the teenager was gone. Now only Daniel and the old man remained. The car suddenly felt much longer, quieter. The sound of the wheels on tracks echoed strangely, like the tunnel had widened. Daniel moved toward the emergency intercom. He pressed the button. Nothing. No operator response, just static. The old man slowly stood up. His joints cracked audibly in the silence. He walked down the aisle toward Daniel. Not fast, not slow, just steady. Daniel stepped backward. "Hey man," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "Do you know what stop that was?" No answer. The old man stopped a few feet away. His face looked wrong, not deformed, just empty, like someone wearing a human expression without understanding it. Then he spoke, very softly. "This train doesn't go back." "What?" The train screeched to a sudden stop. The lights went out completely, pitch black. The only sound was Daniel's breathing. And another breathing, closer than before, right behind him. The lights snapped back on. The old man was gone. Daniel spun around. Empty car. Completely empty. He ran to the doors. Locked, he pounded on the windows. Nothing but darkness outside. The train wasn't moving anymore. It felt parked. He looked toward the front of the car. The operator's cabin door was slightly open. That was unusual. He hesitated, then walked forward. Every step echoed. He reached the cabin door and slowly pushed it open. Empty. No conductor. No operator. Controls lit up. Train running by itself. Daniel stumbled backward. That wasn't possible. NYC subway trains don't run without operators. He looked out the front window. Instead of tunnel, there was another platform. Dimly lit. Sign hanging crooked. Paint peeling. He squinted. The sign read, Forest Hills 71 Ave. But it wasn't the one he left. This one looked decades older. Abandoned. And on the platform, people stood in a straight line, facing the train, not moving, not blinking, just watching, waiting. The doors opened, slowly. Daniel's phone buzzed in his pocket. He nearly screamed. Signal returned. One notification. Unknown number. Message read, "You weren't supposed to stay on." He looked up. The people on the platform had moved closer, still silent, still staring. The old man now stood at the front of the line. He lifted one arm and pointed at Daniel. The train lights began flickering violently. An automated voice filled the car. Not the usual subway announcement, a distorted version. "Last stop. All remaining passengers must exit." Daniel backed up. "No," he whispered. The platform figures began stepping inside, one by one. Slow, unnatural. Their feet made no sound. Daniel ran to the back of the car. The emergency window release. He pulled it. Glass shattered outward into darkness. Cold air rushed in. He didn't think. He climbed out, jumped, fell onto gravel beside the tracks. Pain shot through his shoulder. He scrambled up. The train doors slammed shut. The car lights went dark. The train pulled away. Silently. No screeching metal. No wind. Just gone. The tunnel was empty. Daniel limped toward a faint light in the distance. After what felt like 10 minutes, he reached a maintenance ladder and climbed up. He emerged onto Forest Hills 71st Avenue platform. Normal. Bright. 2 police officers were standing near the edge. One of them rushed toward him. "Sir, are you okay?" Daniel looked back toward the tunnel. Nothing. "Where's the train?" he asked. The officer frowned. "What train?" "The E train. It stopped. The lights. There were people." The officer exchanged a look with his partner. "Sir," he said carefully, "the last E train tonight terminated at World Trade Center. I was just on it." The officer shook his head. "We've had no trains arrive here in the last 40 minutes. Daniel looked at the digital board. Next train. Morning service. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. One last message. Next time, get off at your stop. The message deleted itself. No record. No sender. Daniel never rode the last train again. And if you take the E line late at night, near Forest Hills 71st Avenue station, and the car feels too quiet, and no one gets off when they should, make sure you exit at your stop, because sometimes the train keeps going, and it doesn't always bring everyone back.